Hi, my name is Svet, and in today's video I'm gonna show you how to make this particular bushcraft knife using nothing but hand tools only. No power tools will be used, no belt grinders, no bench grinders, no milling machines, and also we will not have to forge the blade. So if you're interested and if you want to see me make this blade on my balcony, in my flip-flops, then stay tuned and let's get started. So here I am again, guys. I'm on my balcony, which doubles as my workshop. So what are you going to need in order to make a knife? Of course, the first thing you're going to need is a good piece of quality steel. And what I have here is a British-made 1095 piece of steel. I hope you can see the markings. And it is 4.5 millimeters thick by 4 centimeters wide and is 60 centimeters long. This means that I can make 3 knives out of this piece. Alright, and this piece cost me about $15 with shipping included. So basically each and every knife I make out of this will cost me $5. The next thing you're gonna need is a template for your knife. And this is a design that I created in Photoshop, which, by the way, you can download for free. In case you like this design, in case you like the knife that I'm making. So, what are we going to do? We are going to cut out one of these designs here. We're going to lay it on top of our piece of steel, and then we will go from there. See you in a minute. So now we have our template ready, it's cut out, and I'm gonna lay it on top of the piece of steel, and I'm gonna mark here. That's it. Next thing, we're going to put this in this vise here, and I'm gonna cut it with a hacksaw. And there we go. Okay. And guys, now comes the real fun part, which is cutting out the shape. It's gonna be very laborious, and like I promised you, I'm not gonna use any power tools. I'm just gonna use this hacksaw here. It's gonna take a lot of effort, I can tell you. And the template that I traced is on my side, facing me. Unfortunately, you cannot see it, but it is what it is. I'm just gonna start cutting out the shape. I'm just gonna roughly follow the shapes, and then I'm gonna shape it down to its final shape using a file. This is what we are left with. It's almost a straight line, but like I said, I'm gonna use a file to take off the excess and to round it off. Yeah, I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna use this file here to kind of follow the shape a little bit closely. We're almost there. So we're almost there. I'm just gonna trace it again with a Sharpie, and I'm just gonna finish this side, and we're almost done. So we are getting there. Now I'm gonna file everything, and I'm gonna cut this here before I start filing, and that will be it. So guys, I'm starting to drill the holes for the scales of the handle And like I promised, I'm not gonna use any electric tools. I'm gonna use this hand drill. I already applied center punches here, and I started this hole, so I'm just gonna finish it now. We have this. And guys, now it is time to create the bevels. And in order to do that, I'm gonna create a center line on this side of the blade. I'm gonna use this Sharpie, and I'm gonna use this Sharpie to mark. Now, I have marked it. I'm gonna grab a drill bit that is the same thickness as this blade. I'm gonna place it here, and I'm gonna scrib. I'm gonna do this. I also use the calipers to mark the bevel on the side of the blade, and I'm gonna use this Sharpie to reinforce the line so I can see it clearly. And in order to create the bevels, I made this very simple jig, which consists of a threaded rod and a ring nut on top of it. And then I took my file and I attached it with these brackets to a long brass rod. And the rod doesn't have to be brass, it can be anything, right? And now when I place it here, I can file away the bevels with consistency, so the bevel is not gonna change. I calculated that I need 10 degrees of an angle, so I'm gonna place this here, and then I'm gonna grab my file and I'm gonna check, and yes, indeed, it's exactly 10 degrees. I'm gonna clamp my knife here using one of these vice grips, and then we will just start filing away. All right, and I have this screw here that will prevent the knife from going forward when I'm filing it this way, so bear this in mind. I also have this thing that's gonna serve as my plunge line separator. I'm gonna grab my vice grips. I'm just gonna clamp it. And guys, from here on, it's just a matter of me filing this away. So I'll probably stop this video here and I will turn it back on when I'm done. This thing cost me, the whole setup cost me less than $2. So here's a different angle. You can see how even the bevel gets, you know, without any guesswork. All of this because of this jig. Very simple. So I just continue filing, guys, and this is the result. Very even bevel. I have only like maybe 3 millimeters to go, and then the bevel on this side will be ready. And the edge is about 1 millimeter or half a millimeter thick, which is good. I'm gonna leave it like that, because if I sharpen the knife right now, in the process of heat treating, it may crack. And guys, using this wooden block here and a little bit of sandpaper, I'm just gonna touch up the bevels to remove the file marks, the rough file marks. I'm not aiming for mirror polish or anything like that. I just want to remove the rough file marks because they can cause cracks in the quench. Keeping the angle of 10 degrees we're just gonna start touching up the bevels. And I don't want to round this bevel line here. I don't want to round it off. So I'm very careful to keep the angle of 10 degrees. And maybe you can see that I made this, how do you call it, sharpening choil or something like this. I used a round file. I also believe that this will prevent the blade from cracking where there are abrupt changes in the angle. This is the final step before the quench. And we are approaching the most critical part, which is heat treatment. So now guys, this piece of steel is above non-magnetic. We are normalizing it in the cool air. We're gonna let it cool off and then we will repeat this cycle 3 times. And here I am in my kitchen, guys. Here's the blank, just hardened and cleaned from all the oil. And now I'm gonna place it in this oven, which is preheated to 200 degrees centigrade. And I'm gonna bake the blank for 2 hours, and I'm gonna repeat this cycle 2 times. So let's go. I'm placing it inside and the clock is ticking 2 hours. Here's the knife, clean from the scale. I dipped it in vinegar for 24 hours and I cleaned all the scale from it. So now it's clean, and now we're gonna create an interesting solution because we're gonna rust blue the knife and it's gonna turn black. In order to do that, we will need 4 tablespoons of peroxide, 1 tablespoon of vinegar, and 1 tablespoon of salt. This solution is going to rust the blade in a matter of seconds. And then we're gonna take the rusty blade and we're gonna dip it in boiling water and it's gonna turn black. I'll let it dry, then I'll boil it, and I'm gonna repeat this whole process 7 to 10 times until I'm satisfied with the blackness that I get. Now it is flush roasted, it's totally brown, and it goes in the boiling water. Guys, this is the final result. It is almost jet black now. This is after 7 cycles. Here it is. So guys, now we have our knife blank ready. It is annealed, it is normalized, it is hardened, it is tempered, and it is finished in black oxide. So we can easily wrap the handle in paracord, sharpen the blade, and call this a knife. Nothing wrong with that. A lot of people do it this way. But I decided to create a proper handle for this blade. So I bought these pancake spatulas, which are made out of very hard pre-flattened beech wood. And I decided that I'm gonna cut them out with a jeweler's saw, and I'm gonna create the scales for the handle out of them. The problem is that while I was cutting them with the jeweler's saw, pieces started chipping off. Beech is kind of brittle. So I abandoned this idea, and what did I do instead was I fired up Fusion 360, which is a software for designing details for 3D printing, and I designed scales for this particular blade, and then I 3D printed them. So here they are. Here are the scales, 3D printed, and I also believe that making these handles out of plastic, it's a little bit better than wood, because it's water resistant and blood resistant or whatever. If you're gonna use the knife for hunting, you would definitely don't want your handle to get stained with blood. So here are the scales. I was using a photograph for reference, so the bottom hole got a little misaligned, but I can live with that. That's not a problem at all. So what is left now is we're gonna glue them on with liquid steel epoxy. We're gonna use liquid steel epoxy, and then we're gonna use these pins that I created out of regular nail. Let's do it. So guys, now the handle is glued, and what is left is for us to wait for 24 hours before it cures, and then we're gonna touch it up a little bit, then we're gonna sharpen the blade, and we are going to call it a knife. So guys, we made it. And if you feel that you have learned something from my video, if you feel that it's been useful to you, please subscribe to my channel. Stay tuned for more do-it-yourself projects like this one, more bushcraft stuff. And yeah, see you in my next video. Bye-bye.